what's the best road to kind of finding a solution today, right? So, I'll be honest with you, most of the time, especially pre-COVID days, I would be a big user of these platforms, right? And under the presumption that they were giving me convenience, right?
Sure.
And then when you reflect a little bit, you start to realize that you're always ordering from the same 4 or 5, 10 restaurants anyway,
exactly,
right? So the choice of the thousands of choices and the whole user experience and the fun.
If I go on, Zomato, or I've never heard of 99% of them, and and the thing is, you go on Deliveroo and Uber Eats, all the food looks good, it all looks the same, but it can't all be. So as a customer, I actually find that a bit frustrating. What for us, what we're KRUSH Brands is, and I'm going to use the number 10 because I just kind of like it and it seems about right. It's 10 brands you love, right? Yeah. And we're going to wrap everything under one app, but not in a cafeteria style. Each brand is going to stand alone. You're going to be able to swipe left to right.
It's on identity.
Go from one brand to the next, but you'll have a comment checkout. So the idea is that I can give you 10 things highly curated, and that can change by location, right? You can have different brands in different locations. But the idea, it's from a company that cares, that we have common values, etc. But the idea is these are the 10 brands that you need, highly curated, not 1,000 brands that are meaningless and are just discounting for the sake of it. I get annoyed at the discounting. I know a lot of people dig it, but like as a customer, I find it annoying to try and sift through all this stuff, and I'd rather just have good pricing from the customers. And if you looked at the I don't have the exact data, but if you look at the pricing of restaurant menus in the last 24 months, I'd argue they're up by at least 10 to 15% on the whole, and it's because of the aggregators. So the more, if customers want to continue to drive up the price of their own food, then God bless them, but it costs money, right? And to deliver costs money. It costs me 20 dirhams to do a delivery, the raw cost of a delivery. So if you factor that in, and that's a very sobering number. Now, I have a different utility value for my drivers. They're not sitting around, sitting on their asses, on the grass smoking all day. My drivers, they work for us. They're all cross-trained, which is an eyesore. By as a business owner, it drives me crazy to see that because I find it a bit offensive actually as a customer. But the idea is our guys are cross-trained. They're trained in hygiene. They're trained in safety. They're trained in the stores. And most of our general managers, believe it or not, started as drivers because they know the business from the outside in and they're quite clever. So so we have a different utility value. So that 20 dirhams is our raw cost, but it doesn't account for the additional utility value we get from them.
So when we go back to the solution moving forward, so all these thousands of restaurants that now want to compete, have that kind of independence, gain that relationship with their customers, what's the solution? Is the solution kind of follow the same route you have, own your tech, own your infrastructure, own your operations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Is that the only way? And if that's the only way, I mean, you guys definitely have a head start, but do you not have an opportunity or responsibility as well to take your learnings and give people access to the back end that you have, for example? Is there a way to scale that from that?
Yeah, so I'll start with one thing that we're doing. So part of our business model right now is that we support local chefs in local markets. So we want to have at least 3 local chefs. So by the end of this month, we're going to be announcing our first chef partnership. It's been accelerated because of the current times, and it's a great chef that we know. He's going to be moving into one of our kitchens. He's going to be on our platform, and we're going to be doing his delivery for him, right? So that's part of it. But to your point about scale, how does the average restaurateur deal with this? The first thing is decide what business you're in. Okay, like are you in the delivery business? Because delivery is a completely different business to everything else. And I'll talk a bit further because I actually believe this isn't just about delivery. This is about being everywhere. Because I believe that customers today want what they want, when they want it, how they want it, where they want it, right? Yeah. And so my job as a business person is to be able to provide that. And it's not just delivery. This is drive-through. This is vending machines, that are digitally enabled. This is being able to walk into a restaurant and order the same way I would from home on my app and be recognized. Being able to walk out without having to pay, or without the active payment. So for me, and what glues that all together is, of course, technology. So I don't see this just as delivery versus dine-in. For me, this is technology to give our customers everything they want, wherever they want. And that's only technology can do that, and that's where we're heading as a company. For other companies, the first thing to do is make sure you get your customer data. right? I mean, your job isn't just to make food. If it is, then either decide you're going to become a cafeteria and you're going to, and you have no control over your customer, and that model might have some merit to it. It's not the choice that we would make because I don't think it's very secure. If you don't control your value chain or your customer, you basically are an employee, right?
Yeah.
And there might be business models around that. So don't get me wrong, that might also work. And the dark kitchen is the next, delivery aggregator, honeypot that everybody's invested in. And I have some very strong views about that as well. But I think the first thing is to get control. First of all, decide who you are. If delivery is part of your future, then it's not just about being on an app or being, and it's about how you communicate. You then create a program around delivery. It's the menu, how you're doing your packaging, how you're delivering, what messaging you're giving at the door, how you're following up with customers. But the most important thing is to actually have the customer data. And the only way, but you need a place, and you need a place to drive customers to. So you need your own platform, irrespective. And there's lots of third-party platforms out there. They're all different versions of bad. There's a few better than others. But it's very easy to get a platform set up because you've got to drive traffic to your own platform, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're a brand that people care about, then they're going to be looking for you.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm listening to you speak, Ian, and I can't help but come to the realization that you're an entrepreneur. You're a guy who's easily evolving and innovating as he goes. He's super in touch with his customers, demographic, and how he's serving people. But I don't know what it is, but I feel like every time I speak to a typical F&B guy, he's all about creating a destination and bringing people to his food, and he's all about he's continuously selling this food experience that's on location. And I feel like, my whole life, I think like a lot of guys and girls, sorry, but, I've always wanted to be in the F&B business, right? Yeah. I think ever since I was in college and I was a bartender paying my tuition. But at a certain point, I feel like the restaurateur or the F&B guy today, the guy who wants to start his own place, he's living in a very, very different world, right? He's living in a world where convenience is the name of the game, building brands is the name of the game, and that experience does not just sit at a table and 4 chairs, right? So what do you say to a guy who wants to get into the F&B business today, especially in a world or in a city like Dubai where the aggregators are kind of, and especially the post-COVID era, is going to look very different?
Well, what do you say to those guys? I would say that your business, having a product, the days of putting out your tomatoes and people coming to buy them are over, right?
Yeah.
So you're not, people go, I'm in the restaurant business, I'm not in the technology business. It's bullshit. I'm in the technology business, I'm in the restaurant business, I'm not in the delivery business. No, you're not, right? Or and I'll talk about your point about experience because I think it's fascinating. So I believe, and this is my view, is that, your experience is going to come back into the equation in a big way, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so, for me, there's 3 restaurants in the world, and I'm not going to tell you where they are, where it's the only place I can get that experience, right? And I will go there all day long. You don't have to advertise to me. I will find it, right? And I can't get that experience anywhere else. I can't go anywhere. I can't order from them, because it's about something completely different. So if you have that, you're in a different game, right? Now, having said that, you should still get customer data, right? Sure. Because you want to be able to communicate, but that's those places where experience overrides everything else. That's a very unique position to be in, and it's also a very delicate position because it could easily be taken away, right? Sure. So that's one part of experience. I believe that over the last 5 years, we've all been exposed to convenience that we never had before. The delivery and everything. So I think as a society, we've been drunk on convenience. So the idea being that, convenience is more important. Look, I can get it, right? Is it any good? I don't know, but I can get it, right? So that, that was good enough, right? I can get what I want when I want. And so that convenience was more important than anything else. I believe today that experience is starting to come back into the equation. The idea, technology is becoming commoditized and more commoditized. There's different, there's a lot of technology out there. There's a lot of bad technology, but there's a lot of technology out there. And I believe the idea of putting experience back into the equation is very important because even if it's digital, right? So I believe you can have a sublime digital experience our drivers say something when they deliver to you. They greet you. There's ways that we can infuse experience into the delivery process and through technology. And I use the example of Amazon. Amazon is ruthlessly efficient. It's the German of, they're ruthlessly efficient, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think would anyone look at it and go, "What a wonderful customer experience," right? And it's actually their weakness. Their efficiency is, their strength is also their weakness, because it's very inhuman. I don't think people care about Amazon as a company. In the sense that, like, if you gave me another brand that did it as well or better than they do it, do I care? I mean, Amazon, as long as somebody does it, right? So I think there's this idea of experience is going to come back. We're human beings, we want to care about things, and it's a different model. But it's not at the expense of convenience. It's convenience is going to become commoditized, and we're going to go back to experience, whether that's digital, real life, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I've kind of built a career building that narrative as well, by the way, because we've realized that transactional or functional brands eventually are unsustainable. And over time, building that kind of affinity and that relationship with your customers is the only way that you have a sustainable kind of business.